You know, we've all been there. A moment where a friendship you thought was rock solid feels like it's about to just shatter. Today, we're going to dig into the powerful words we use when that happens. And there's so much more than just words. They're actually like a map that can trace the entire path from the second a bond breaks all the way to the chance it has to be rebuilt.
So really, what words do we actually reach for when a friendship is falling apart? I mean, it goes so much deeper than just the simple, I'm sorry or I'm mad at you. The language is incredibly specific. And to show you exactly what I mean, we're going to follow the story of one particular friendship in a major crisis.
All right, so our story starts with two best friends. We'll just call them Friend A and Friend B. Their bond is super strong, built over years of trust. But then something happens that threatens to just burn the whole thing to the ground. A really nasty rumor starts going around, and words become the spark.
And look, this wasn't just some harmless gossip. The rumor was truly deleterious, and that means it was actively causing real harm. We're talking serious, real-world damage to Friend B's reputation, her other relationships. It was absolutely toxic.
So feeling completely hurt, betrayed, and just watching this damage spread, Friend B feels like she has to do something. She decides to publicly decry the rumor. And even more directly, she denounces the person she thinks is responsible. Her own best friend, Friend A. And just like that, a private pain becomes a very public fight.
You can really hear her mindset in her own words. The damage from this is awful. I have to speak out against it. See, it's not just pure anger talking. It's this feeling of self-preservation. She feels like she's being forced to go public because the hurt is just that deep.
Okay, so now let's flip the script. Let's look at it from Friend A's perspective. She's just been called out by her best friend in front of everyone. The pressure is on, and her first instinct is just to defend herself. This is going to lead her down a really tough road, from complete denial to a very painful truth.
And would you look at this timeline? Things spiral out of control so fast. Day 1, the accusation hits. By day 2, it's a flat-out denial. Just 2 days after that, a complete 180. And by day 5, the first attempt to fix things just fails. A friendship can go into a full-blown crisis in less than a week. It's crazy.
So on that second day, Friend A's immediate reaction is to repudiate the whole thing. Now, this isn't a soft denial. To repudiate something is to reject it forcefully, to say it has absolutely no truth to it. It's like drawing a hard line in the sand, probably born out of shock and a whole lot of panic.
But then, we get to the turning point. Friend A takes a moment. She thinks back, and she realizes, oh no, she did say something. Maybe she was being careless, maybe it was totally taken out of context, but she can't repudiate it anymore. She has to recant. She has to officially take back her previous denial, which, wow, is an incredibly humbling and difficult thing to do. But here's the thing. Before she could even recant, she had to take a huge step internally. She had to renounce her own pride. See, to renounce something is to formally give it up. In her case, she had to let go of her defensive anger, abandon the need to be seen as the innocent one just so she could get closer to the truth.
So Friend A does the really hard thing. She owns up to it. She apologizes. But that's not the end of the story, not even close. Now we have to go back to Friend B, who is still just reeling from that initial betrayal. And for her, a simple I'm sorry might not be nearly enough to patch up that kind of wound.
And this is the moment the friendship hits absolute rock bottom. Friend A's apology is met with a painful rebuff. And to rebuff is more than just saying no. It's a sharp, abrupt, almost cold rejection. Friend B is basically saying, your words mean nothing to me right now. The door is just slammed shut. Man, after a rebuff like that, it would be so easy to just give up, right? But this is where our story really takes a turn, from breaking down to building back up. It's all about what it takes to move forward after a crack this deep. And the very first step is a quality you only find in the strongest relationships. So, despite that incredibly painful rejection, Friend A proves to be resilient. She doesn't walk away, she doesn't throw in the towel, she withstands the awful situation because she believes their friendship is worth fighting for. And that's what resilience really is. It's not about bouncing back like nothing happened, it's about having the strength to endure the storm. So, how do they actually do it? How do they rebuild? Well, it really boils down to 3 crucial actions. First, Friend A's resilience. Second, her constant reaffirmation of her loyalty. And finally, a really big one from Friend B, the choice to relinquish her anger. For Friend A,
One apology just isn't gonna cut it. She has to reaffirm her commitment again and again and again. This means constantly showing, with her words and especially with her actions, that she's sorry, that she's loyal, and that she truly values their friendship. It's all about rebuilding that shattered trust through repetition and genuine sincerity.
And that brings us to what is maybe the toughest step of all, and this one's on friend B. For any healing to even start, she has to relinquish her anger. Now, this doesn't mean she forgets what happened, but it means she has to voluntarily let go of her white-knuckle grip on that betrayal. It's a conscious choice to give up the right to be angry so she can make room for forgiveness.
And you know, when both friends actually do this painful, difficult work, one of them constantly reaffirming, the other choosing to relinquish, something pretty amazing happens. The friendship doesn't just survive, it actually transforms.
I mean, just look at this transformation. It's so profound. The friendship literally moves from betrayal, anger, and the silent treatment, over to forgiveness, renewed trust, and real communication. The whole journey is from a state of being completely broken to a new kind of wholeness.
And that's really the key here. They don't just go back to the way things were before. They can't. They have to actively renovate their friendship. It's like renovating an old house. You have to tear down the parts that are broken, check the foundation, and then rebuild it to be even stronger and more honest than it was before the damage.
The result of all that hard work? It's a bond that feels completely rejuvenated. Because it survived such an incredible test, their friendship now has this new depth, a new energy. They have a much deeper appreciation for what they have because they both know just how close they came to losing it all. It feels fresher and, honestly, more alive.
So when you look at all of them together, Deleterious, Repudiate, Recant, Rebuff, Resilient, Relinquish, Renovate, they're really more than just a vocabulary list, aren't they? They actually form a map that helps us understand the anatomy of a conflict, and even more importantly, shows us the path toward reconciliation.
And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. In any conflict, what do you think is harder? To be the person who has to recant? To admit you were wrong and take back a lie? Or to be the person who has to relinquish? To let go of perfectly justified anger so that healing can begin? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.